Ruben, I mean, it's eight Premier League wins since you've been here. At some stage, you're going to have to accept that the way you set up your team is just not working. It's not creating enough wins, and people are finding it easy to play against you.
Find it easy to play against, guys. You have an. You have. I understand that, and I accept. So it's not a record that you should have in Manchester United. There are a lot of things that you have no idea what happened during these months, but I accept that. But I'm not going to change. When I want to change my philosophy, I will change. If not, you have to change the man. So and we'll talk about that every game that we lose. I don't believe in that in the system or whatever. So I play my way, and I'm going to play my will until I want to change.
I welcome you once again to the fifth installment of this very independent production. My name is Tobi Amusan, and this is the TNT Talk Sports Show, baby, episode 5. Glad to be here. All glory to the higher power for breath in my lungs after a very, very, very eventful weekend of sporting action. And of course, there's going to be a lot to talk about. And I've been alone on the show for a while, but Tosin makes his return in a different way. There's a new segment that's going to be debuting on the show today. So I want you to stick around for that to hear Tosin's unique thoughts on a number of outcomes. But right now, highlight of the weekend for me was something that it could have been disappointing because I wanted Giannis Antetokounmpo and the Greek national basketball team to win the Eurobasket. Tosin would have more for us over the course of the show to in-depth analysis of the Eurobasket. But Greece did defeat Finland to finish third in the Eurobasket. And Giannis Antetokounmpo, or Giannis Adetokounmpo, of Nigerian and Yoruba descent, gave a very, very impassioned speech. A very, very... It was therapeutic. It was brilliant to hear an athlete talk like that. And I would just like for you to hear it for yourself instead of hearing me continue ramble on about it.
I've heard everything in my life. Through ups and downs, good and bad. When you're one of the best, players, and I don't talk too much. I like my actions to talk. I'm not. I don't fake. I like basketball. I don't like media. I don't like being famous. I just like basketball. And every day, sometimes when you don't play well, people. Talk shit about you, but this for me, it's almost like a relief, because I did it for the country, I did it for myself, I did it for my family, and finally, I fucking did it. So I'm proud.
Incredible speech by Giannis Antetokounmpo post-match, and you could hear the emotion. It's ever too often that we hear footballers, sportsmen, basketballers, so sports people in general being very media trained and saying what they're supposed to say or whatever. But Giannis more often than not speaks from the heart, and this is once again another installment of Giannis's many great speeches. So that really amused me. Like I mentioned, Tosin will have more for us on the Eurobasket and go in depth into what happened in the final and the third place, and in fact the entire tournament. Another thing that happened this week, ladies and gentlemen, it's time to be messy. And I have the T, Tobi Amusan versus the AFN, the Athletics Federation of Nigeria. Tobi Amusan started this drama by posting a video with a very unique commentary of our kids package that she received. And once again, instead of hearing it from me, just hear it from her. It's much better the way she put it.
Oh, Nigeria, all the other countries, they give their athletes suitcases. See what in Nigeria pack kits put for athletes. Every year, na so we dey collect am. Inside one small like no bag. A country. Which company be this? Iresa. This country will steady embarrass you. Now, can't say many people not switch allegiance. Nah, never ready. I beg you. Nigeria give us one. Rosie is a laugh. I'll put it for video now. Two. Men are the count more. Two like that. One. Kilele, j'ai boxer si lele abi. Even blind man no say this thing. It go be like nika for my body. They give us two. Everything two now they say oh yeah. Competition gear. Maybe say if you sweat like this, the color of it if if it pee for your body. I beg. Down the water. Wait a minute. They went to bash one. All of our. I don't think what time you. Tomash bash two. Tomash bash three. And extra butter. Edge of the round. And in their words, podium wear up and down. I beg you. Long tight either. Wear long tight. Wear 3/4 tight. Wear long sleeve. No singlet. No nothing. We don't even get clothes we go wear for dining. This thing they give us now is strictly competition gear.
I don't do this one. I don't feel like I've under that place. I don't listen to black tights and black joggers.
That's Tobi Amusan, very obviously frustrated. A multiple national honor holder. I'm not even going to mention our athletic achievement right now. Let's talk about the fact that this is a top 1% Nigerian, in the sense that she has been recognized by the government. She has been recognized by our country. OON, Tobi Amusan, having to put all of that on the app that the children use nowadays, Snapchat. Putting it on Snapchat by producer Cookie is mocking me for my inability to use Snapchat. It's fine. But the AFN, of course, because in Nigeria, there must always be a comeback. I fired back at Tobi Amusan. Nothing is wrong with those kids. Take it like that. They did not put down. It's me that take it like that. But unfortunately, I don't have a clip from the AFN, so I just have to read what they said. According to an article on Paul Sports, written by Hassan Abdusalam, so giving him all his credit. World record holder Tobi Amusan has accused the Athletics Federation of Nigeria, AFN, of providing athletes with substandard kits for the 2025 World Championships in Tokyo. In the Snapchat posts on Friday night, Amusan lamented that while athletes from other countries received full gear suitcases of competition gear, Nigerian athletes were handed small nylon bags. And it's true, it was actually a small nylon bag with two questionable quality outfits. Goes on to put what Tobi Amusan said in quotes, but I already played that for you. So the AFN's response. In response, AFN President Tonobok Okowa dismissed Amusan's claims, insisting that the federation had delivered the complete kit package in line with its agreement with iRacer, the global sportswear company supplying gear to 20 participating nations. I beg your pardon. And there's a quote here from Okowa, and he told Sunday Punch, "There is nothing wrong with those kits. Tobi Amusan only brought out one pack out of the pack that she was given. The items came in batches, so they were told they would receive the rest the following day." He stressed that the distribution was uniform across all countries, adding that athletes also received spiked shoes and covers at no cost. Wow! Thank you so much, Mr. Okowa. You were supposed to make them pay for it, but as you have now specified at no cost, how very benevolent of you. It would have been better if our OON and one of the greatest athletes in the history of this country was made to pay for our own spikes. The only thing they did not give them, he continued. The only thing they did not give them was bags. But the World Athletics already shared bags for every athlete. Another good point. Because why would you want more than one bag? If we share bag for you several years ago, why can you not be carrying that bag up and down? You are the one that is not serious, Tobi Amusan, according to Mr. Okowa here. Okowa further disclosed that the iRacer has pledged significant podium bonuses. $30,000 for gold medal winners, $20,000 for silver medal, and $10,000 for bronze. He said in quotes, "We informed the athletes about this at a meeting on September 11, so they should concentrate, work hard, and try to win. That is what matters now. Not all this wearing the right gear nonsense." He didn't say that again, but I'm the one that just tried to contextualize what he's saying. The AFN boss also suggested Amusan has received preferential treatment compared to her teammates. All other athletes came on economy class, said Mr. Okowa. But Tobi alone flew business class. We got business class for her. Very proud. Because that was what she demanded, Okowa claimed. And, going by that logic, seeing as you have provided her business class flight to Tokyo, instead of making her fly economy like the rest of the peasants that are going to represent Nigeria at the World Championships, she should be grateful. Is it easy to fly business class? You want to fly business class and still have traveling plan? It's one you will take inside it. Let me stop joking about this, because this is actually quite annoying. And the AFN has been the worst. No, not the worst, because in Nigeria we are very competitive in mediocrity. So if the minute you think you've seen the worst, there's another worst waiting. But let me say, I can safely say the AFN has been one of the very worst federations in this country. So the level of, and I think that they are also the worst federation that has the best performers. So because I'm sure there are federations that perform worse than them, but they don't have athletes that are also at the highest level. AFN consistently has the best athletes in the world in their care, but they treat them with nothing but proper Nigerianness. Imagine countering back to what Tobi Amusan said, and countering back with, but you are the only one that flew business class. Not even first class, business class. This is sad. This is sad from Nigeria's perspective. It's a new low. But let me try and go to more cheerful news. Still talking about the Tokyo 2025 from Nigeria's perspective. A new star was born for Nigerian athletics, and that is the person of Konyisola Ajayi, who, as it stands, is the 6th fastest man in the world after finishing 6th in the 100-meter finals, finishing 6th behind Oblique Seville, who won the race with a personal best 9.77, beating his fellow Jamaican Kishan Thompson 9.82. So Jamaica won 2. And Noel Lyles, the self-acclaimed fastest man in the world, had his season best 9.89, but was only enough for a bronze medal, right ahead of his fellow American, Kenny Bednarek, 9.92, and then the South African, Dotlela, 9.95 in 5th, and followed by Konyisola Ajayi, 10 seconds on the dot, finishing above Akani Simbini, 10.04. So congratulations to Konyisola Ajayi. He's been celebrated by his school, Auburn University, who he currently represents as well. And he had a fantastic semi-finals, which is really what, shot him to the front pages of all Nigerian news, finishing second with a time of 9.93 to qualify for the final, becoming the first Nigerian to qualify for the final of the 100-meter race in 18 years. So that's very, very impressive. And he did it all on his own birthday as well, the 21-year-old. So congratulations to him, even though the final did not exactly go as well as the semi-final did. But still, 6th place, 6th fastest man in the world is something to absolutely celebrate. And can't wait till he starts complaining about the AFN as well. So, congratulations to Canelo Alvarez, like I said. And Tobi Amusan also has already started doing a thing at the 2025 World Championships in Tokyo. As you heard, as Mr. Okowa bragged earlier, there are lots of prizes as pushed by iRacer. 30,000 for first, 20,000 for second, 10,000 for third. So Tobi Amusan, I'm sure, will be looking to cash out at this tournament and be able to afford all of our own traveling bags and probably even first class tickets. Who knows? So let me move away from athletics real quick. And in fact, while we're still on the other sports, it's time for the news segment. In other news with Tosin, the public have spoken. You missed his voice. Here you have it. We'll be diving into the big event of the weekend, the Canelo Crawford fight, in which board shocked the world. And of course, like I mentioned earlier, giving us a Eurobasket update. Take it away, Big T.
Hello guys, my name is Tosin Abayomi. It's still the TNT Talk Sports podcast. And this is in other news with Tosin. We'll be touching two very, very important topics. We'll be talking about boxing and basketball. And now, boxing this weekend was incredible. Incredible this weekend. We had the mega fight between Terrence Crawford and Canelo Alvarez. Terrence Crawford produced a masterclass performance against Canelo Alvarez to become the undisputed super middleweight champion and made history in the process. The fight was in front of 70,000 fans at the Allegiant Stadium in Las Vegas, and Crawford, who moved up 2 weight divisions, claimed a unanimous decision victory for the WBO, WBC, IBF, and WBA super middleweight belts. The judges scored the contest 116, 112, 115, 113, and 115, 113 in favor of Terrence Crawford. What this means is that Terrence Crawford is the first male boxer to actually become undisputed in 3 different weight classes. I mean, he was undisputed at 140. He was undisputed after the fight with Errol Spence. He was 140 at 1. He was undisputed at 147, and now he's undisputed at 168. I stayed up. The fight was around 6 a.m. I stayed up to watch the fight. It was an incredible fight. Before the fight, I actually made a prediction that Canelo Alvarez would actually get the win. I was wrong. Sometimes, once in a blue moon, I am wrong. But in this instance, I was wrong. I felt that Canelo would be too strong, too powerful for Terrence Crawford. It turns out that Crawford, even though he was able to run around the ring, he was able to use his athleticism. And even when it came to interior exchanges, he was not afraid of Canelo. He was not afraid of Canelo at all. He actually wanted to go bar for bar with Canelo. And honestly, I feel like this was an incredible fight. This is a fight that will be remembered for the ages. Now, Terrence Crawford puts himself in the category of the great American boxers, the likes of Evander Holyfield, Muhammad Ali, Mike Tyson. He puts himself in that category. A very, very incredible fight and an incredible achievement. And if you ask who is the greatest boxer of this generation after defeating Canelo, it's difficult to say it's not Terrence Crawford. Terrence Crawford is an incredible fighter. Incredible fighter. So let's go to basketball. And basketball this weekend, the conclusion of the FIBA Eurobasket 2025. And as a basketball fan, I'm on top of it. I love basketball to death. Obviously, there was the Afro-Basket this earlier in August, and Nigeria, we fell to Senegal. A very, very disappointing tournament. But the Eurobasket, Germany were crowned FIBA Eurobasket 2025 champions after beating Turkey in the trailing final. It was their first continental triumph since their maiden success in 1993, adding to their FIBA Basketball World Cup 2023 glory to become the 4th national team to hold both titles at the same time. As Ibonga was the player of the game, he had 20 points, 5 rebounds, leading his side to an 883 victory in front of an 11,000 fan crowd packed arena in Riga, Latvia. Also, Dennis Schroeder was named the MVP of the tournament. The final, he had a double-double of 16 points and 12 assists. And the All-Star 5 for the tournament, which had the best 5 players in the tournament, were Franz Wagner and Dennis Schroeder from Germany, Turkey's Alper Şengün, Greece's Giannis Antetokounmpo, and Slovenia's Luka Doncic. All 5 players obviously play in the NBA. Franz Wagner for the Orlando Magic, Şengün for the Houston Rockets, Giannis for the Milwaukee Bucks, Schroeder for the Sacramento Kings, and Luka Doncic for the Los Angeles Lakers. These are the 5 best players of the tournament. Earlier in the other bronze medal match, Giannis Antetokounmpo was amazing. He had a 30-point and 17-rebound game as Greece were able to defeat Finland to win the bronze medal. And let me just give you my breakdown of the Eurobasket for people who follow basketball. Obviously, if you follow basketball, you know that the NBA camp is about 3 weeks from now. You know that it is a very, very good tournament for the best players to actually get their legs warm ahead of the new NBA season. I loved what I saw from Luka Doncic. I'm a Luka Doncic fan. I loved what I saw from Luka Doncic at the Eurobasket. I think he was the MVP of the tournament, but obviously they crashed out in the quarterfinals, so he was not going to win the award. I felt he was the best defensive player. Obviously, he was the best scorer of the tournament, and he had he was driving to the basket. He was exceptional, and even in the quarterfinal game against Germany, he was just very, very unlucky. And some bad calls went the way of Slovenia. I think Giannis is set for the season. He's still dominant, and he's been able to work on some of the flaws of his game. He's shooting the mid-range well. He's shooting the fadeaway in the mid-post well. These are things that will work well for you. He can bring these things that he has learned in the Eurobasket. If he can take them to the NBA, he's going to have another spectacular season. Alper Şengün was incredible. If this is the Alper Şengün that Kevin Durant will be working with, it's going to be hell playing the Houston Rockets this year. And Franz Wagner has also shown he has taken a next step in his game. I always believe that Franz Wagner and Paolo Banchero side by side, they are bar for bar. I can't say Banchero is better than him. I think they are both on the same pace, and he's already a building block for the Orlando Magic, and that will continue. And as for Dennis Schroeder didn't do anything I don't believe he can. He was already the FIBA World Cup player of the tournament, and for him to be the FIBA Eurobasket player of the tournament is just incredible. But I don't really see that doing too much with the Sacramento Kings this season. But the Sacramento Kings are not going to be really, really good by the way. So that is it with the Eurobasket. I'm highly anticipating the start of the NBA season, which will be giving you a lot of coverage on. But this is other news with Tosin on the TNT Talk Sports podcast. Thank you so much. Until next time, you'll be hearing a lot from me very, very soon. You'll be hearing a lot from me, but I'll be focusing more on other news and supporting Tunde and the other people that will be on. So thank you.
Thank you very much for the updates, Tosin, and nice to finally have your presence back on the TNT Talk Sports Show, because it's not just the T Talk Sports Show. And of course, you'll be hearing a lot more of Tosin Abayami on the show. Right now, it's time to pivot away from other sports into football. And the biggest game on Sunday, of course, was the Manchester derby. Manchester United fans groaning and crying on. You never see anything. 3-0 intended in favor of Manchester City, because how else would it have ended? Phil Foden and Erling Haaland, the goal scorers. Haaland with a brace, making it a 3-0 win, like I already mentioned. And it was an afternoon or an evening, a Sunday evening of suffering for the red half of Manchester, who have now officially made their worst start to the season since 1992-1993. In fact, at this point, it seems every season for the last 4 years have somehow been United's worst start to the season. With only 4 points in 4 matches. Manchester United is experiencing its worst start to the season since the 1992-93 season, according to Opta. So no me talk am. Take out your frustrations on at Opta Joe. But yeah, we'll talk about what do I even want to talk about Ruben Amorim and Manchester United that I have not said already in detail. But again, we'll talk about it because they don't seem to learn. They do not seem to learn. Manchester United at some point have to just pull the plug on this experiment and cut their losses. I know what Ineos I know the situation Ineos is in right now. It's a case of we already backed this guy against too many players, against the very structure of the club. We gave him everything he required. We sold all our wingers because he didn't want wingers. We signed the players he wanted for this is weird formation. And we can't just pull the plug on this 4 games into the season because they didn't start the season well. We actually have to. So I get all of that. But at some point, you have to ask yourself, do you want to have another 15th season? Because United are 14th at the moment, which a lot of people say is an improvement from last season. And you would not be wrong to say that. But it is also clear that this project is not going anywhere. At least that's clear to me. And by not going anywhere, I mean not anytime soon. Doesn't mean it cannot eventually work. But that's the thing. Like I always say, the difference between the best managers and other managers is time, basically. At the highest level, you really don't have that much time. Nobody's going to give you 5 years to implement your strategy. Unless you are going to be constantly showing signs of improvement. Like, say, someone like Mikel Arteta that has had more than 5 years now. And you can see the improvements, even though they've not gotten to where they want to be. But you could see the improvement every season. You are not going to have 5 straight years of finishing 15. Because I do reckon if you give Amorim 5 years, at some point you'll figure it out. But no top club is going to give you 5 years. And even the man himself seems like he might be, resigned. He might be resigned to his fate at the moment. You already heard it at the top of the show. But let me bring it back. Ruben Amorim's quotes after the 3-0 loss to Manchester City, where he was asked in the post-match press conference about whether it's time to abandon his philosophy and just focus on winning.
Ruben, I mean, it's eight Premier League wins since you've been here. At some stage, you're going to have to accept that the way you set up your team is just not working. It's not creating enough wins, and people are finding it easy to play against you.
Find it easy to play against, guys. You have I understand that, and I accept. So it's not a record that you should have in Manchester United. There are a lot of things that you have no idea what happened during these months, but I accept that. But I'm not going to change. When I want to change my philosophy, I will change. If not, you have to change the man. So and we'll talk about that every game that we lose. I don't believe in that in the system or whatever. So I play my way, and I'm going to play my will until I want to change.
I am not going to change, says the man, which means Manchester United fans, your NYSC. Now your suffering continues. It is time to strap in and lock in for a season of anguish and pain. That's what you need to do, because I don't see this improving or changing that much. United seem to have a team that is very well set up for a proper 4-3-3 or a 4-5-1 and just hits teams on the break. But for whatever reason, they are not doing that. They are sticking with the manager's philosophy. And the manager himself has put his neck on the line and said, if you want to change the philosophy, change the man. Because me, I'm not changing. I have to say, I respect the coolness. Because to not be hypocritical, that's kind of what I criticize Ten Hag for. And that's also what a lot of people criticize Ten Hag for. It says that when Ten Hag was brought in, it's not because United were not playing well. Because United were not winning. It's because they wanted to play a certain type of way. So they saw what Ten Hag did at Ajax and wanted him to replicate that at United. But when Ten Hag came in, he prioritized winning more than philosophy. And United were actually winning. They won trophies under Ten Hag, but they were not playing well either. And eventually he got fired. And now they've gone to bring the ultimate philosophy man. Problem is, it's now looking like United can only pick between philosophy and winning. And as a United fan, I pose the question to you: which would you rather have? Are you satisfied with what you're seeing with Amorim now, sticking entirely with the philosophy until it works? Because eventually it will work. Like I say, even if you give a monkey 5 years, at some point it will figure it out. So I'm sure Ruben Amorim is a top manager, and he had some level of success where he was coming from in Sporting Lisbon. So I'm sure at some point it will work. It's just, are you willing to stick it out with the level of shame and embarrassment you will go through and the mental torture which you are going through now, say over the next 3, 4, 5 years, while he figures this out? It's not like he's giving you crumbs of happiness along the way like Arteta was doing with us now. No, it is just pain, torture until you start seeing improvement 3, 4 years from now. Or you say bin that and say the end result is not worth the suffering. Let us end that project now and go for winning. To hell with philosophy. So I would like to know what you think at TNT Talk Sports on every social media platform, baby. Look us up, watch out for the cuts, and drop your comments. Let me know what you think. The YouTube shorts are doing quite well and getting a lot of views, but I want to get your interactions and your comments. So please comment on Spotify as well if that's where you're listening. I want to know your thoughts on this: philosophy or winning. It's a difficult choice, but I think the whole point of football matches is to win. So even if the philosophy eventually works out, you are hoping to win. That's what it's all about. So at the end of the day, as much as football fans romanticize how you win, they don't really care about it when it's all said and done. At the end of the season, nobody is looking at your points total and saying, oh, these are the amount of points we won while playing well. It's always a case of, did we win or did we not win? So I would say, being the man, focus on winning. But if you need further proof that United is the problem, I spoke about backing Amorim over a number of players earlier, and we saw those players, starting to live their best life and thrive away from their toxic ex. Rasmus Højlund, Napoli debut with a goal and a superb performance, but a very, very well taken goal for Napoli in their win against Fiorentina 3-1. It ended in Florence on Saturday, and Højlund was assisted by Spinazzola, a fantastic finish as well. Living his best life. Andre Onana as well on debut on Sunday for Trabzonspor. Ended in defeat. It ended in defeat 1-0 to Fenerbahce away from home. But he was the star of the match for his new club. Onana faced 29 shots in his first match for 10-man Trabzonspor against Fenerbahce. He made 8 saves and prevented 1.63 goals according to XG. And he had a 8.7 rating on Fortmob, which was the highest rating in the game. Already leads to the question, is Manchester United the problem? It's not even a question. Yes, Manchester United are the problem. And it's a case of football fans also needing to realize something. Confidence is probably the most important attribute in sports. Yeah, ability and all that is fine, but it's also useless for most people. For 99% of the field, your ability is useless without confidence. There are very few who can perform at the high level or at the optimal level while unhappy or while lacking confidence. And it's, like I say, very, very few, like 1% of the professional footballers. And even you in your regular job, if you are working in an environment that is hostile, if you are working in an environment where you dread going to work every day because people are always yelling at you, or there's potential threat to your mental health or to even your physical health, do you perform at an optimal level? Will you make more? Are you likely to make more mistakes in a calm environment full of love and encouragement, or in a hostile environment where people are just constantly yelling and dogpiling on you? And I have mentioned on this show even last week that Andre Onana is not a bad goalkeeper. You don't go from being UEFA Keeper of the Year, a super performance in the Champions League, and being signed for 50 million to now being completely unusable. So it has always been a case of Manchester United being a toxic environment. And I said it, I've said it, and I'll continue to say it. Let's move on to a non-toxic environment, which is Liverpool. And a slot Liverpool picked up another win on Sunday. I think they're the only Premier League team with a 100% record at the moment, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, 1-0 win away at Burnley, much tougher than it needed to be. But in the end, 96th minute penalty by Mohamed Salah to win the game. So from Burnley's perspective, a very, very back-to-back games lost with late penalties. 97 minutes just before the international break to lose 3-2 at Old Trafford against Manchester United. Bruno Fernandes with that goal. And now 95th minutes, Mo Salah with this one. Two very avoidable penalties too. They could have picked up 2 points in two very tough games, but somehow they ended up with 0 points and nothing but pain and agony, which is sad. But from Liverpool's perspective, should we start paying attention to Arne Slot's time? This is the fourth straight game in which they've needed a late winner. Opening game of the season, Federico Chiesa did it against Bournemouth. Against Newcastle, it was Rio Ngumua in the 100 minutes. Then we saw Jobozlai's free kick against Arsenal in the 83rd minute, and now 95th minute. So it's something to pay attention to, but also it's a discussion worth having. Can Liverpool keep getting away with this? We've seen one too many questionable performances that is now rescued by a late goal. Is this sustainable? I do not know. I don't think so. I do not think so. But because Burnley away, a newly promoted team, you would expect that would have been a layup from Arne Slot's perspective. And they didn't rest players. It was a full-strength Liverpool squad, except for Alexander Isak, who was not in the squad at all. Understandably so, because he has not played any game this season. I haven't tried to force a move from Newcastle. So, do you think this strategy is sustainable? Subscribe to the page right now, first of all, if you are watching this, and then comment your thoughts. Subscribe on Spotify, subscribe on YouTube, follow the pages on IG, Twitter, and TikTok as well. Other notable results from the weekend, I'm going to be introducing a new segment, but probably from next week, to properly let us wail and commune together as football investors. Segment will be called "Who Got Your Ticket?" because a lot is happening on these betting streets, my brothers and sisters, and it's now starting to look like betting has become more difficult than it used to be. But yeah, other notable results from the weekend: Barcelona rotated their squad heavily and still won 6-0 at home to Valencia. And by home, they played at the Johan Cruyff Arena, which is has a 6,000 capacity limit, and they still ran over Valencia. Fermin Lopez with a brace, Rafinha with a brace, Lewandowski with a brace. So all things balanced. Marcus Rashford got his first official assist for Barcelona. So the 007 agenda is over and done with. On Sunday as well, Serie A was very, very eventful. Atalanta doing quite well without Ademola Lookman. 4-1 winners against Lecce. And Ademola Lookman continues to be left out of the squad. So right now, he didn't get a move, and also is still not being selected. So there's a conversion to be had there at some point. But we'll see how the situation progresses a little bit further. Game of the weekend was undoubtedly in Serie A on Saturday. Undoubtedly. The Derby d'Italia, Juventus 4, Inter 3. It ended at the Allianz Stadium, and a cracking game with 7 cracking goals. Lloyd Kelly, the defender, opened the scoring for Juventus with an uncharacteristic volley. Çalhanoğlu equalized for Inter Milan with a superb volley. Kenan Yildiz retorted in the first half to make it 2-1 with a long-range effort. Çalhanoğlu, another long-range effort in the 65th minutes to make it 2-2. Marcus Thuram put Inter in front for the first time in the game in the 76th minutes with the header, with his father watching, and then Just shortly after that, in fact, exactly 7 minutes after that, his brother, Kefren Turam, equalized for Juventus in the 83rd minute, and the father could not believe what he was watching, as the rest of Europe and Africa and the rest of the world by extension could not believe it as well. And then youngster Vasily Adzic with a phenomenal goal, his debut goal. How do you score your first ever career goal like that? It was ridiculous, from damn near 40 yards out. No back lift. He just put his laces through it in 91st minute and won the game for Juventus. So, game of the weekend undoubtedly, in my opinion. On Saturday in the Premier League, we saw Arsenal 3-0 winners against Nottingham Forest. Arsenal starting to demonstrate the reason why they needed to spend as much as they did in the transfer window to stock up the team. Because even with Bukayo Saka, Odegaard, Saliba, Havertz having suffered injuries so far, this squad is stacked. Noni Madueke is making an impression. Victor Gyökeres scored again his third goal in 4 games. Eberechi Eze first assist for the Gunners. Bournemouth 2-1 winners against Brighton and Hove Albion. Antoine Semenyo scoring and assisting in that one. Crystal Palace, Sunderland ended goalless, as did Everton, Aston Villa. And Aston Villa, I've been one to watch so far, or one to not watch, because they are the only team in all of the first 7 divisions of English football, which is crazy. Premier League, Championship, League 1, League 2, National League. Then you now go to the lower national leagues, the National League, South, North, Isthmian, whatever. Aston Villa are the only team yet to score so far. 4 games, 0 goals. The season has not started well. Speaking of goals, Nick Woltermeyer opened the scoring for Newcastle in his debut for the club, and leading up to their first win of the season. So they are not missing Alexander Isak, at least not at the moment. And even Yohan Wissa, their new striker, who got injured on international duty with Congo. Mohamed Kudus returned to West Ham and helped Tottenham secure a 3-0 win. He was booed the entire time. Brentford-Chelsea ended 2-2. Sad for me because I'm a Chelsea fan, but it was still a great game of football and very, very, very fun to watch. So those are my notable results from the weekend. Of course, let me run through some from the NPFL as well. On Saturday, Bender Insurance 1-0 winners against Niger Tornadoes, and Abia Warriors on Sunday 1-0 winners against Katsina United. Enyimba 2-0 winners away from home to Bayelsa United. Great start to the season, still yet to concede. Kano Pillars 1-0 winners at home to Rangers. Kun Khalifat 3-1 winners against El Kanemi Warriors. Impressive result for the new boys. Nasarawa United 1-0 winners against Wiki Tourists. Plateau United 2, Remo Stars 0. Remo Stars were without their coach, who had just returned from international duty. I don't know if coaches need to observe a rest period after international duty, but neither Daniel Ogumodede and Fidelis Udochukwu, the 2 Super Eagles assistant coaches, who are also the 2 last coaches to win the NPFL, neither of them were in charge of their teams over the weekend, and both of their teams lost to Kano Pillars and Plateau United respectively. Rivers United 1-0 winners against Shooting Stars. Warri Wolves 0, Kwara United 0, and Ikorodu City stealing the points from Barao FC 2-0 it ended. So as it stands, Enyimba top of the table on goal difference, with Rivers United second, and bottom of the table is Barao FC, but tied on points with Shooting Stars. So Shooting Stars, Kiniso. Let's move right on to the UEFA Champions League. The champions. I know Goge is not going to help me and put Champions League sound here, so I'm just going to be sounding stupid all by myself using this Champions League, using the Champions League tone. But Champions League returns on Tuesday. So if you listen to this on Monday, prepare your Champions League betting money. Again, like I always say, you don't have to feed your kids. You should be investing in the Champions League. And there's lots of great games to look forward to. 6 games on Tuesday, Thursday, and Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, respectively. Athletic Bilbao versus Arsenal, PSV versus Royal Union Saint-Gilloise, Benfica will host Karabakh, Juventus, Dortmund, Real Madrid, Marseille, and Tottenham Villarreal. So the game of the day is obviously Athletic Bilbao versus Arsenal. I like to see what Iñaki Williams will do against this Arsenal defense. Juventus Dortmund also looks pretty good. Looks like he's going to have lots of goals. My predictions: Real Madrid will blow past Marseille. Tottenham should beat Villarreal at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Juventus should beat Dortmund, but I can see a draw happening there. Benfica will beat Karabakh, as PSV would also beat Royal Union Saint-Gilloise. And Athletic Bilbao Arsenal, I think, will end in a draw. But don't come for me. On Wednesday, Olympiacos will host Pafos in the game that nobody will be watching. Slavia Prague against Bodo Glimt. Another game that, those are the two early kickoffs on Wednesday, and yuck. Ajax against Inter. Inter should easily take that one. Bayern Munich Chelsea, of course, is the game of the day or game of the night on Wednesday, and at the Allianz Arena. I can't wait. Liverpool Atletico Madrid as well, another game to look forward to on Wednesday night, and PSG Paris Saint-Germain against Atalanta. On Thursday, last but not least of the Champions League days, Club Brugge versus Monaco, Copenhagen versus Bayer Leverkusen. Eintracht Frankfurt will host Galatasaray. Hopefully Victor Osimhen is back from injury at that time, because he did not play over the weekend for his club because of the injury he picked up against Rwanda for the Super Eagles of Nigeria. Manchester City versus Napoli. The storylines are already in effect. Kevin De Bruyne returns to the Etihad, and with Rasmus Højlund in goal scoring form, maybe we'll score the goals for Napoli that he didn't score for Manchester United against Manchester City. Newcastle will host FC Barcelona at St. James's Park. I cannot wait. And Sporting Club Portugal versus Kairat Almaty. So those are the Champions League fixtures. Do not forget, like I said, get your betting money together. Don't be left behind, ladies and gentlemen. The Europa League action should be happening, but now that I look through it, I don't think the Europa League starts until a week after. So yeah, congratulations to everybody involved. Chelsea Bayern Munich, of course, is the game to watch in the Champions League this midweek. And by the time we return next week, we'll be reviewing the results and talking about the biggest highlights or biggest moments from the Champions League. But right now, let's concentrate our attention of the biggest highlights of the weekend from the perspective of Nigerian players. Lots of Nigerian players in action, and as always, Eagles Tracker always have them covered. By the way, we don't have an official partnership with Eagles Tracker. I just really like what Eagles Tracker are doing, and I like the work that IoT and the rest of those guys have been able to do over the years. So a massive shout out to them as well. Kelechi Iheanacho made his debut for Celtic and scored the winning goal on debut. 95th minute penalty to seal the win. He played 20 minutes, came off the bench and scored the winning goal against, I think it was Kilmarnock, if I'm not mistaken. 2-1 away win for Celtic. Very, very impressive. The amount of cojones required there as a debutant to take that clutch penalty and win the game for your new team. So I hope this gives him the amount of confidence that he needs to get back to his very, very best form. Speaking of him starting back, Victor Boniface also came off the bench for Werder Bremen and immediately got in on the action. He played 15 minutes and Werder Bremen won 4-0 away at Borussia Mönchengladbach, and he assisted one goal. And in true Boniface fashion, he already made a post on social media about that as well. So I think I saw it earlier. I can't find it right now, but I saw it earlier. On serious students, don't do assists or something like that. True Boniface fashion. Congratulations to him. Another player I'm hoping is able to find his confidence. Felix Agu also played in that game for Werder Bremen. The defender, so contributing to a clean sheet for the away side. Moses Simon featured for Paris FC as they earned a tough away French Ligue 1 victory over Brest, even though he didn't score assist. 2-1 win for Paris FC as they fondled Brest in that one. So congratulations to Moses Simon. I forgot to mention earlier, Kelechi Iheanacho became the first Nigerian player to score for Celtic since Efe Ambrose. If you remember Bros Efe, not the one from To Kill a Monkey. The original Bros Efe Ambrose, the right fullback. In fact, those are the only two Nigerians to have scored for for Celtic. So congratulations to both of them. Ebenezer Kinsomiro put in a good midfield effort as Pisa fell to a defeat to Kingsley Ezebo's Udinese. So 1-0 ended. Neither of those players got on the score sheet, but two Nigerians going head to head in that one. Risola Babajide opens a goal account for AS Roma in the cup victory over Sassuolo. 3-0 it ended, and she scored one of the 3 goals. Abdurrahman Taiwo scored on debut. Philip Azango also found the back of the net in Spartak Trnava's away league victory over MFK Skalika. I feel like my furniture is going to start floating with all these spells Harry Potter spells I just read now. But congratulations to those brothers, Abdurrahman Taiwo and Philip Azango. Chidozie Awaziem worked hard in defense, but couldn't prevent a defeat for Nantes against Terence Murphy's OGC Nice. So Chidozie Awaziem played the full 90 in defense for Nantes, but they lost 1-0 to Nice. And Terence Murphy played for Nice, 28 minutes off the bench. He didn't score or assist, but he got some good action. Calvin Bassey bossed the defense to keep a clean sheet for Fulham. Alex Iwobi featured as well, and Fulham beating Leeds United by a single goal to 0 in the Premier League. Chris Santos Uche came off the bench. He played just 11 minutes, but he was quite active for Crystal Palace on his debut. Goalless draw at home to Sunderland. Another debutant, Tolu Arokodare, he started the game actually and played 66 minutes for Wolves. He won 6 duels but didn't score assists as Wolves lost 1-0 at St. James's Park as well. I think that's that with our Nigeria players update, and that, ladies and gentlemen, might just be that on episode 5 of the TNT Talk Sports Show. This has been a fun roller coaster of a journey. This has been a fantastic episode. In fact, I dare say this is our best episode yet. Every episode is our best episode yet, because that's what we do on this very important production, giving you my very raw thoughts on everything happening in the world of sports. My name is Tony Young. You had Tosin Abayomi on the show earlier as well. Shout out to everybody that has a hand in this amazing production too, from behind the camera to our social media team to our art department. There's a lot of good people behind the camera to make sure that this show drops every single Monday for the past 5 weeks and running. So congratulations to everybody, and thank you for your efforts. Thank you also to you guys, the listeners and the watchers, the most important part of the show. Please don't forget to like, share, subscribe, comment, interact. Let the algorithm know that you love what you're watching, because I know for a fact that you love what you're watching. Because I'm the one that's putting it out. So I don't put out stuff that people don't like. So thank you very much again for rocking with us. We appreciate your consistency and your support. We do not take it for granted. Until next week, keep suffering matches ended, fans, according to your manager. Peace out.